Well, welcome back, Blade fans, to another collection video. This video, as you might surmise, is on, yes, out the front automatic knives. And you may have little or no interest simply because you may be living somewhere where they are not allowed. It's a personal decision. I actually live in a state where I can own them, but can't carry them. So we won't go down the legal path here. I find it's up to everybody to determine what their laws are, whether or not they follow them to the letter or not. That is a personal decision. All of these knives, except for one, have been reviewed on the channel. So if you want to know more about them, you can pull them up by name and I will give you a listing. Not all currently available on the open market, but you may be able to find them on the secondary market if you really have a burning desire to get a hold of one. So we've got 7 here. That's my limit. There's a few more I didn't put out here. Most of them are not name brands. So other than the Max Ace Archer, which for some reason I couldn't locate, but I do have a review on that one. Under $100 knife, kind of a budgety out the front knife. And for the most part, you need to buy it directly from Max Ace. Okay. We've got various brand names represented here. Got a couple of Hogues. We've got a couple of Microtechs. We've got a Dirac, and we've got a Benchmade, and we've got one that we're going to surprise you with here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it kind of looks like what it is, right? Let's start right over here. The Compound by Hogue. Extremely lightweight, a aluminum underframe, G-Mascus outer scales. There's your aluminum frame there, and actually that's no, that's your G10. But underneath, way underneath, is an aluminum frame on this knife, believe it or not. And fires pretty well. Got a strong spring. With my healing up thumb there, we're not going to try it. We're going to try it with a strong left hand. Right hand's coming along, though. Just working on the strength. The dexterity is there. Look at that weird pattern. And then they sort of do the honeycomb milling into it. This I got directly from BJ Hill. Haven't heard from BJ. If you know where he is, let me know. Hilltop Knives and Tools, I believe he called himself, out of North Carolina. That's why it has this aftermarket clip on it, which for all the world to me looks like a Pops clip from Etsy. It's a titanium clip, quite thick and deep carry. I'd say probably better than the original. Although we've got some button top screws here, the clip rides on top anyway, so, you know, it seems to go in and out of the pocket okay. It's high enough right here. Oh, sorry about that little interruption in the vicinity. But here is the blade. The blade is simply CPM S30V. Hogue does that a lot with their out the front and out the side autos. It's an Elishewitz design, as you can see, and it's kind of a utility clip point. It is got a very nice edge on it, supplied by BJ Hill. He put a mirror edge on it, and I think he hardness tested it too. The thing is, if I don't have a paper that gives me the hardness test, I lose track of what the hardness actually was. He had a hardness tester, so he would test a lot of them. But, you know, I would ask you, if you have a hardness tester and you sell a knife, put a little paper in there along with it. And, you know, if you went to that trouble, you know, let us know what the hardness is. So can't tell you what it is. Can only guess. Is it 59? Is it 60? S30V isn't generally hardened up too much, but I'm not going to go on about it. Fairly tall handle here compared to another Hogue that I'm going to show you in a moment. that's also out the front. But I thought what's interesting about the compound here is the offset kind of interesting handle that they did. That does maybe help with the grip a little bit. There's no jimping on the top. A lot of out the fronts don't have jimping. Does have an interesting kind of trough here. Not sure what that's used for, whether that's something that a mechanism inside rests in, or it's just considered kind of like a fuller. Really don't know. But very, very light knife. I'm not going to measure these up for the most part, but I'm going to measure this off to the side for the hell of it, just so you get a sense. Don't have room for the scale in the scene here. It's 3.5 ounces, a little under 3.5 ounces. So pretty light because of the G10 and the aluminum chassis, if we can call it a chassis. I'm going to go right to another Hogue. Notice much narrower top to bottom, not as tall a knife at all. And this one has come out relatively recently. For some reason, I can't. It's the Counterstrike. Okay, just remembered. Counterstrike comes in both kind of a drop point, if you want to call it that, and this Tonto. I kind of really like Tontos and out the front knives for some reason. You got some of that same shifting here of the almost stuck myself. Right there. All right. And then a little bit of shifting there. So they're doing the same thing there to a degree that they're doing here with that kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of trapezoidal? Well, wouldn't be quite it. Anyway, we'll think of a name. The Counterstrike, become a very popular knife, aluminum handle, and it's got that interesting milling on that side. We've got the Damascus G10 on the other side that also has that same interesting sort of pattern on it. Blades on these are both about the same. Yeah, they're like about 3.4-ish around there. Maybe it's that 338 thing. I don't know. Yeah, they're both. This one's maybe just a tad bit longer, if that matters to you. All right. So the Compound and the Counterstrike. Beautiful blade. I mean, this is ultra lightweight. How does it compare with the other one? What the heck? Ooh, it's only 2.82. So the other one's 3.5 ounces. This guy is super light. Under 3 ounces. Pretty amazing. I can't quite pull that back with that thumb. Sorry about that. Have to keep shifting to the left hand for at least the time being. I'm at about 8 weeks after surgery. They say I'm going to see improvements. It's 3 months and 6 months. It does take that long because they kind of rebuilt it. Get rid of the arthritic pain in this old hand. This old hand, this old sword. Sure, why not? I took this one apart. And there is a way to give the spring a little stretch, kind of a trick I learned from a third-party manufacturer, and it worked, and it doesn't fail. That's the important thing. You don't want to overstretch that spring, or you may not get a full deployment. But pretty cool knife, and deep carry on this is the factory clip. They attached this on the back. It did come with this nasty long glass breaker, and they give a screw here as well. So I opted for the round-headed screw instead of the glass breaker. I'm going to move right over here to a good old Benchmade Autocrat. Almost forgot the name of that one. Benchmade Autocrat. This one with the Desert Tan handle. I got this a couple years ago, and I got a very good deal on it. So I know Benchmade has just gone sky high crazy with their prices and just ridiculous stuff like $500. I don't know. The interesting thing about this is they only grind it on the edge on one side. It is not a chisel ground blade, however, but they put the grind on one side. It is extremely sharp. I saw somebody from WorkSharp demo their sharpening system, one of their sharpening systems. I forget which sharpening system it was, but there is a way where he just touches the edge here and you can't even see it. This has not been resharpened. So this is, as you can see, is S30V. I like the knife a lot. I like G10 handled out the front knives just because it's a warmer feel than the aluminum, you know. And I don't know, just like it. But there again is a manufacturer doing this odd sort of asymmetrical, that's a Beyond EDC thing, isn't it? Asymmetrical handle, you know. They're doing it on all three of these for some reason. Whereas most Microtechs, you're getting kind of a symmetrical handle. But beautiful action on this. I like it because it's a longer blade. This one's coming in at 3 3/4, which I like. I like longer knives, bigger knives. And I'm going to weigh this one off on the side for you too. And yeah, the Autocrat comes in just about 4 ounces, just a shade under 4 ounces, but it is a larger knife. Longer blade, more steel, etc. It's only about a 3mm blade, I think. I'm not going to get into measuring that. They grind it pretty thin. Well, we'll put that one out there. And moving right up. This is just crazy. Drak, Daryl Caston, designed this. And I don't know who the OEM is, but he does not make his own knives as far as I know, because most of them are folders and some out the front and some crazy designs. But that's all Ultem. Yep, the good old Ultem that we're probably tired of by now, but love it. It's under, it is under, what is it? It's under 2 ounces. It's less than 1.5 ounces. It's like 1.46. 1.46 ounces. Nuts. This is something you could even tuck in like your shirt pocket. And buttons on one side only. So whether you put it in your right pocket or your left pocket, your thumb is going to hit the button. So, I mean, that part is good. You don't have to mess around with the clip because it's on one edge or the other. Got some grooving in there. Ultem is a pretty amazing material. It's pretty tough. It's PEI, polyethylamide, something like that. Look it up. It's got some pretty amazing, like chemical resistant, abrasion resistant, break resistant qualities to it. Looks like it should be just, you know, crack in a second, but apparently not. And look at that. You can see everything inside. I know even Microtech is doing see-through handles now, so nothing new. But this was, at the time, quite new. Black aluminum, I believe, button. And he calls it the Zulu. The Zulu, because it's like a spear, like an African spear. All right. Well, here's another side-mounted button. This is the very famous Drak, or Dirac, however you want to pronounce it. I think it was named after Paul Dirac, who's a physicist, by the way. Way back 50s, maybe, earlier, I'm not sure. But he is responsible, apparently, for some theories in physics. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't have notes in front of me. But this one is from CTS XHP. You don't see that too often anymore from Microtech. It is the blackened surface, and then the flats are satin, all black handle, glass breaker, very small, very light, kind of falls into the same classification as the Zulu there. Probably not quite as light. I don't think it's 1.5 ounces. Don't know why I'm obsessing on weights here, but bear with me. Yeah, 2.28 ounces on that one, so not as light as the Zulu because it's all aluminum construction. And as I was saying, I mean, there's your symmetrical handle, right? Completely symmetrical handle. Deep carry clip. You can switch it just by taking that off and swinging the clip around. Pretty hefty clip. It's their typical two-stage clip, which they've designed, I understand, so you can wear it at 2 levels, basically all the way in the pocket or partially out. And that's why they do that little wrinkle there, in case you don't already know. The Dirac, nice little out the front knife. Classic, I would say. And for a big one and an expensive one, the Glykon. I got this in 2023. Kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. It's got the tri-way, what they call it, button. I may be wrong on the exact name they gave it. But the actuator is on the top. It's deeply milled with a beautiful design. You can close it easily by pinching those. So it does ride, not in the open position, but in the closed position with a little rattle. You can barely see any movement, but there is a rattle, and that ticks off a lot of people who feel as though it should not have a rattle. While we're on that topic, just about all of these out the front knives have blade play when they're open. Microtech has come out with a new one. Name escapes me, but I've been reading about it. They're going to have it available later this year in 2024. I think they're introducing it at the Texas Blade Show, if I'm not incorrect. And in an example, we have side-to-side play. Probably can't hear that. And we have up and down play on all of these. Doesn't matter which one. The Benchmade, blade play. The Hogue, blade play. And even this fairly customing Zulu, not quite as much blade play, believe it or not. Did a nice job on that. There is the Gavin Hawk Deadlock, which is currently, until Microtech comes out with theirs, the only deadlocking out the front knife. So if your blade has play in it and the button has a little play in the closed position, it's kind of like, so what? What are you complaining about? Maybe you can have a button that's completely non-jiggly. I mean, you can't even feel it move. It makes a little bit of noise. And I would think that you need that for your tolerances. Can't be too tight or things are going to lock up and bind up on you. So it would be interesting to see how Microtech does their deadlock out the front knife. I saved this one for last because it looks for all the world like a Microtech Halo. And in fact, it is a knockoff, but they did not print the Microtech name on the blade. They didn't try to pass it off as a Microtech. They just copied the design. But I think this one was like $100 or something like that. Believe it or not, available on either Amazon or eBay. I can't remember. I had gotten this a while ago. But it's got all the features except kind of a crappy chrome job there on the metal parts instead of solid steel. Got the safety on there and everything. I'm going to use the left hand to open it. So you pull back and push. And there is your like 4-inch blade. I think they said, oh, this is 4 1/4 or a little better. I think they said, and it's not marked, that this is 14C, but your guess is as good as mine when you get into knockoffs. But here's the thing. It's crazy. No up and down blade play. None. Sorry. And almost no side to side blade play. And either that is by virtue of the design, which they copied from Microtech. And if you have a real Halo, you may not like the fact that I'm showing you this knockoff, but I'm telling you it's a knockoff, and I hardly ever buy them, but I didn't have $750 to buy the real deal. You know, I just didn't. And the way this is a single action auto out the front, so you've got to, you have the charging handle here, and it's tough to do in front of a camera. So that locks it in once you press the button and let it go. And then you've got your double locks here. And they did a pretty good job. I mean, the whole knife is a dead ringer for the Halo. Again, I don't know the name of the company. It is totally unmarked. But it came in, I don't have it here. Yes, I do. Came in this guy. Pretty nice Kydex, actually, that protects the button and rides on your waist. Or you could take the Tech Lock type clip off and just, you know, hang it from a cord, and comes out pretty well. But that is the Pseudo Halo, and man, that fires with authority. But again, I can't believe how tight they were able to make it. I'm sure made in China somewhere, right? But that's kind of the novelty one of the group here today. So I hope you enjoyed the collection here we have of out the front knives. Once again, the Glykon, big time for the time being, flagship out the front knife for Microtech. The Phony Baloney Halo copy from who knows where. The Zulu from D-Rocket Designs. The Autocrat, yeah, you're prompting me, aren't you? From Benchmade, the Compound from Hogue, the Counterstrike from Hogue, and the Dirac from Microtech. Well, let me know if you enjoyed this review, and don't forget to give it a like if you would, please, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back with you soon.